And she said, "Yeah, we got your blood test results. Your enzyme levels are really high from dead tissue in your heart. So it's kind of like shows like you had a heart attack, but you didn't have a heart attack. Everybody who comes in from an Ironman shows signs of what could be interpreted as a heart attack.
That is not good.
So
oh my God.
Estelle's eyes go like this big.
Literally.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 64 of the On the Runs podcast. I am missing my usual co-host tonight. Erika is at a concert, so I found an awesome fill-in, and I have Adeline here as my co-host. Adeline, how are you?
I'm very well and a little bit tired.
It is late. It's past your bedtime. Why don't you tell my listeners who you are?
I am Adeline. I'm 7 years old, and guess what? Eric, he is actually my father.
That's right. I'm your dad. I'm the guy letting you stay up late right now past bedtime to do this intro. But let's tell everyone real quick. We just came back from camping, right?
Yep.
How much fun was camping?
It was so much fun. Oh my God. And we got to do face paint, and we got to see fireworks. It was so much fun.
That's right. And then we did NASCAR, and that was a lot of fun too. So, wow, it was a good little summertime vacation. And coming up soon, ooh, did you hear that? More fireworks outside.
Yep.
I don't know if the microphones could pick it up, but someone outside our house is lighting up fireworks. So, hey, we're going to get to our episode, and it is with our friend Scott. Do you remember Scott?
Yes.
Who's Scott?
He's very hilarious, and I'm not sure if you remember this time, but a long time ago, I feel like I was like 4 or 3, when me and my mom and dad were in the hot tub, Scott just like walked right up, and he literally just jumped into the hot tub.
Just jumped in the hot tub and surprised you. That was in Canada when we were there for my Ironman. That was a lot of fun.
Oh my God, I forgot about
You were
that.
3 years old then.
Okay.
You loved the little gondola thing. It was the slow gondola ride that went through the village. You loved it.
I forget what a gondola is.
It's like a chairlift, but that is enclosed and you sit in it.
I know what you're talking about, like the one at Disneyland where we went to like those different
Exactly like that
parks.
one. Exactly like it, but a little smaller up in Canada. The Disneyland one. That was big. That was big. But let's get to the episode. So this is part 4 of our Road to Kona series, the final part in the series where Scott comes on the podcast and tells us about his time at Kona. Are you ready for this, Adeline?
Wait, so Scott already been on the podcast before?
Yeah, Scott's been on the podcast, and this is the final part of the Road to Kona series.
What's the road to Kona?
So he was trying to make a big race, the World Championships, and it's in Kona, Hawaii. And he did. After crashing his bike and pooping his pants and racing through a thunderstorm and getting sick, he finally made it to the World Championships. He's really good. You want to get to the episode?
Yeah, I was born ready.
All right, let's do it. Everyone, Scott Black, part 4 of the Road to Kona series on the On the Runs podcast. Our next guest on the pod is a friend of the pod who we've had on before. You guys know him from parts 1, 2, and 3 of the Road to Kona series. And we are back at his house where it all started when we were doing this podcast with you. Scott Black, welcome back to the On the Runs podcast.
Thanks for having me back, guys. It's been a while.
It has been too long, too damn long. Because when did you actually do Kona? How many months has it been? October, was it?
It goes back to last October 6th.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's 6 months now.
Oh, more than that, it's May 12th.
6?
It's the 5th month of the year.
8 months ago?
June,
9
dude.
months ago?
Oh, it's June 12th.
Wow, we are all
it's
over the
6
place.
months of the year. I'm not good with this stuff.
No.
We had it the other day when we were talking
Said it
about
was like
somebody else.
February. We're like, no,
Yeah,
no, it's not
yeah.
February either.
Well, we are back. We are in your basement recording here. There is, between you and Erika on the couch, a really nice looking towel. Mm-hmm. Ironman World Championship.
Just Vanna Whited it.
Erika, tell the listeners how Scott, came in here
Oh
and
my
introduced
God.
us.
Had to be the best reveal ever. He goes, wearing a nice Ironman World Championship shirt. And he's just like, you know what? I really shouldn't show off. I mean, I just threw it on because we're going to be talking about it. And so he rips off his shirt. There's another one underneath. How many did you have on? Like 6?
I had 5 or 6 shirts on.
One after the other, one after the other. It was amazing.
The trip to the Ironman store was very fruitful for Ironman.
I was expecting you to take off the last shirt and have it tattooed onto your chest or something.
That's for next time.
No corporate logos on my body.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to live. I said
Right.
the same thing about Ironman a while ago when everyone was mad at some guy from CrossFit and they're like, "Whoa, wonder what all those CrossFitters think now with their CrossFit tattoo." And I guess the guy from CrossFit said something that was a little offensive. Whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm kind of pissed off at Ironman too, so we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you did get to do your race, but it wasn't, maybe the experience you wanted. And we're not talking about your actual race experience, your performance. We'll get into that too. So since we talked to you last, it was the summertime about a year ago right now, and you were amping up for Kona. You just qualified at Coeur d'Alene, where you got really, really sick, but still, because of kind of COVID, there were a lot of slots. So you came so close so many times, and then because a lot of slots opened up, you kind of knew in your mind you just had to show up and not crash. Instead, you got sick. You got bronchitis, right?
Yeah, bronchitis. Yep.
And you almost didn't make it, but you powered through. You juiced up, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Did you?
Yeah, glad I get tested at the end.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you juiced. The doctors just juiced you up to make you feel better, right?
Yeah, it helped.
Yeah,
I could breathe.
yeah.
Good.
That's important for Ironman, especially for swimming.
Right.
So, you before Kona though, you did a warm up race. Where'd you go?
So after Coeur d'Alene, Kona got canceled again. That was in October. Said we can't have Kona in October. We're going to push the race back to February. So that was mid-August, but we don't have any details. They tell you so.
Super helpful.
I didn't cancel the reservation at that point. And I let things sit. And I also had reservation to spend 2 weeks before heading to the Big Island on Maui. And a couple of weeks go by. Ironman says, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do February either.
Really?
Yeah. So at that point, maybe a little fuzzy on the exact dates, but I tried to cancel the reservation in Maui, and they're like, "No, there's nothing wrong in Maui. We're not letting you cancel."
Oh.
So I went to Maui for 2 weeks. Took one of my daughters. We had a great time. I did some advanced scouting for what it would be the following year.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, okay, now I have a full year to prepare, and I'm going to do this like a pro.
Mm-hmm.
So my first decision was to go down to Florida and spend the winter training in Florida.
That's right.
Yeah. So I took my camper, went down to Florida, and starting early January, I was putting in 15, 18, 19, 20-hour work weeks.
So a part-time job worth of
Oh, yeah.
training.
That's all I was doing.
Can we tell the people why you bought the camper in the first place? I don't think it was for Florida, but like you bought it because of you and someone else were going to go together, right?
Yeah, my girlfriend and I were going to go spend the winter in Florida together. We're going to go. I spoke about going for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
She was in, and then the week after I bought it, whatever. She's like, "No, I don't think I can do 3 months. Maybe I can do 1 month."
So you have a brand new camper only to use for 1 month?
And then she said, I'm not comfortable going down to Florida with COVID. and I don't want to leave my work for that long. So I wound up going alone, and it was awesome.
Did you go for the full 3 months that you planned?
So I originally planned to come back on my birthday on February 10th, and after I extended it, and I only came back here, it was like March 20th.
Okay.
So heavy training, a lot of swimming, a lot of biking, a lot of running in the Florida sun. It was fantastic. My form was unbelievable. And this was February.
Mm-hmm. But then you had to come back here.
Oh, we hadn't even
Okay,
gotten
we
there
haven't
yet.
gotten
We
there,
haven't
okay.
gotten there. End of February, I find out I'm in Orlando, Clearmont, Florida, and I sign up for a race, half Ironman race, non-branded, down in South Florida, a Clash race.
What is a Clash race?
It's another brand.
Brand.
It's
okay.
another brand.
I didn't know if this was like some crazy competition that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
So, okay.
It's taking place at one of Eric's old haunts.
Mm-hmm. But the very last racetrack I had a race at on Pit Road. It's my last one.
Yeah. So I go down there and I smashed the race. And I won my age group.
Congratulations.
Would have won the next two younger age groups as well. And it was unbelievable.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was.
Nice job.
Yeah, I was in top form.
Mhm.
But you have to remember, this is March 6th.
Okay.
So I come back, and I start realizing that I can't keep going on this trend because I can't go up and start doing 25, 30 hour weeks working out, because my body is just going to fall apart. So
Burnout, right?
yeah, I cut it back a little bit. April, May, June, I decide, okay, I'm going to start ramping up. I start ramping up again, and come early July, I am starting to get unmotivated
Oh, no.
because Kona's still 4 months away. So I need something to pick me up. So I signed up for Ironman Augusta,
Mhm.
half marathon in Augusta. And that was end of July.
Okay.
So I go there. I have a pretty decent race. I finished second. I finished second to a legend of Ironman again.
Mm-hmm.
This guy named Jeff Cutterback. He held age group Kona records for 3 or 4 age groups in a row,
Wow.
like 30 to 34. And then when he went up, he had the record. So a legend. So he beat me, and I felt bad before I knew who he was. And after that, I didn't feel so bad.
Right.
So I come back, and my goal was take a week off after that. And then I had basically 8 weeks to build back up to Kona. And I thought I had everything under control. I knew exactly what I was doing. And August 15th, I get COVID.
Oh. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
The hits just keep coming.
The hits just keep coming.
Can't catch a break, Scott.
Yeah. So that was when I was supposed to start ramping up and doing my biggest weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I was down and out for 1 week, being able to do nothing at all. Second week, I was feeling better, but I was just so tired.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to do something on the Monday, and I was like, this is just stupid. So
Mhm.
I took another week off, and then I had to start building up. So that by that time was like August 20th, August maybe 25th.
So the time is burning.
And I was heading out to Maui on September 12th.
So you were going out early again to do
Yeah.
what you had planned the first
oh
time
yeah.
around. Okay.
I had huge plans for myself going to Kona. I mean,
Yeah.
really, really huge plans. I thought that if I had a really good day, I could easily be top 5,
Mhm.
top 10 if I had a decent day. So I still had those high hopes when I headed out.
Mhm.
So I got to Maui, took 2 days off. I got there on a Thursday. On the Saturday, I had a big ride, so I did the West Maui Loop all around the island, and I didn't feel so bad. Thought I had hope. I did a nice 1 hour run after that.
Mm-hmm.
By then, I was like, I think I can do this. But I wasn't doing any longer than 1 hour runs at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was getting nice and adapted to the heat. But in hindsight, I should have done some longer runs. So anyway, originally, the Kona races are held on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
But because of COVID and because of Ironman's unending quest for more money, they decided,
They are a profit company.
yes,
Yeah.
they decided to split the men's race and the women's race over 2 days. So the women's race was now taking place on the Thursday, and the men's race was going to be taking place on the Saturday.
Oh.
Yeah, when they first decided that, I was disappointed.
A couple reasons. One, they get to double their field,
Yeah.
double their income.
Yeah.
The pier where the bikes go, there's only enough.
They could only the pier can only hold 2,500 bikes.
Right. So now you're going from 2,500 athletes to 5,000.
5,000, yeah.
Right. And you missed a year. You missed maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
They did kind of have the St. George. We actually recorded around that time.
Yeah. They had a big backlog of people. So,
Yeah.
and it gave them an excuse, or they used having a women's only race as an excuse, an additional excuse to do this. But the old guys, everybody, all the men over 55, and the young bucks, 18 to 24,
We're going to race with the women.
were going to race with the women on the
How
Thursday.
did they figure that out?
Pure numbers to get to 2,500 on
Oh,
the
wow.
on the pier.
So there's just not that many women who want to do the Ironman races.
No, that's
so-
why I'm trying to get you to do a triathlon so we can get you into Kona, and so we can, as a podcast, can go to
God.
Kona. Like my Kona chances, I need like an invitation.
You're pulling at strings, man.
I'm gonna get you there.
I think Nicole is your ticket, not me.
You're right. You're absolutely right, actually. About
Oh
that.
yeah.
Well-
So watch out, Nicole.
Well, Eric was invited, and he was going to come, but come August, he was like, I have 2 little boys,
It was
and
just
I
too
have a
hard.
daughter, and I just can't wing it. So we decided to pull the plug on.
And I still had my plane ticket voucher from the previous year because I bought the plane ticket the previous year to go to Kona. Like Kona
Yeah.
was happening.
Yeah.
And so now I have a $1,200 plane voucher that Scott said he would give me the money for. I'm still waiting for the $1,200 from Scott, but we can get to that later.
Much later.
Yeah, much later.
you go.
Just write me a check. Leave the check blank. I'll fill it in what I need.
So anyway, so my race was now on the Thursday, racing with the women. The place I had booked from Sunday to Sunday. Originally, I was going to arrive the Sunday before and leave the day after the race. Now I'm arriving on the Sunday, like 2:00 in the afternoon, for a Thursday race. And that was cutting it a little bit short in terms of all the stuff that I wanted to do and enjoy once I got to the Big Island. So we land at 2:00, and I was kind of in, like, okay, oh yeah, we're in Kona. But once I got onto the highway, which is the Queen K, which is the main road that the race takes place on,
Oh yeah.
just triathletes everywhere. Biking, running, it was unbelievable. That's when I really started to smile big time. So I got really excited. We went and checked in at the place, and then I'm like, let's go down to the beach because I wanted to do a swim.
Yeah.
So we go down to the start line where the swim takes place in the harbor. I jump in the water. Girls go food shopping, and I do a little swim recon. And there are just so many people swimming. It was unbelievable. It was great vibe, great atmosphere. After I got out, I went and did my first little recon at the gift shop. gift
How
shop.
many shirts did you get that day?
I didn't buy any. That was just recon. That
Oh,
was
just the recon.
That was just
Okay.
recon.
Okay.
But that's where I first saw the sign with all the names.
Oh, that's
And
the best.
downtown Kona is set up just for the race. You got posters of all these past champions. So that was Sunday. Monday I headed out and did a little bike ride, but I wasn't scheduled to do anything big anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a little bike ride first thing in the morning, and just the first 20 miles of the course. And then I got in the car and I drove the whole bike course. And I got the.
Did you take your girls on the drive?
No, they were pooling it because you have to remember, Camille was pregnant.
Yes, something we haven't told the people. Scott is now a grandpa. He is really an old man.
Very.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Baby boy.
Yes, thank you. So I did the bike recon on with the car, and the drive seemed to never end. You're on a highway, and there's really nothing to break. You're basically going straight for 50 miles.
So is it just like one down and
And
back?
and it's an out and back loop.
Is the whole thing like lava fields,
And
or is
it's-
that just a section?
And basically the first 40 miles is lava. And then you make a turn and it to go up to Havi, and it starts to get greener.
Ooh.
But there's nothing that
Green's good.
green's
no, I know.
good.
I said ooh, like
Oh, I thought you
not
said
like
ooh.
Yeah.
no, it was not a bad ooh.
Yeah, but there's really nothing to break up the monotony of the ride. You don't see any buildings. You don't see so.
Okay.
So I do the recon. So that's the end of Monday. Tuesday we decide to take a day off completely. So we go to a beach. Light run, and then Wednesday is day before the race.
Yep. How you feeling? You feeling good that the day before? You think
I'm
you're ready?
I'm excited. I went to check in. I got weighed in. They said I was 177 pounds, which I found kind of strange. It seemed high, but I had been eating an abnormal amount of
Carbs?
not so many of pretzels.
Well, those are carbs.
And
yes.
and gorging on Pedialyte.
Oh, okay. Getting your electrolytes.
And I wanted to get a lot of electrolytes because it's hot and it's humid.
So what are we talking for temperatures down there?
It was the temperatures aren't outrageous. They're like 80, 85. The humidity index is probably, the humidity is probably 70, 75% humidity.
Okay.
Depending if there's a breeze or not. And
That's a big factor.
depending if there are clouds or not, because that makes a huge difference.
Understandable.
We make our trip to the gift shop. That's where Eric got his hat.
I love it. I really do.
Good colors.
Yeah. On Wednesday we're I should say that the condo where we're staying at was just 2 miles from the start line on Ali Drive, which is one of the main roads that the run race takes place on.
Oh, cool.
You know,
That means your girls can come see you.
Oh
and-
yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
So
Make it easy.
tons of people training. We took some walks downtown prior to race day. There's so many people walking around with their shirts off, looking so fit. It's like I'm looking like I don't belong. I'm like telling the girls, I'm like, man, look at these people. Look at that guy's legs. Unbelievable. So fit. It's so fit. I really didn't feel like I belonged. We're walking back, drive by this guy running, and I'm like, wait a second, that's Christian Blumenfeld. So Olympic champion,
I'll take your word for it.
one of the favorites.
Very nice.
So I
But what did you do? You
Get a
did
little
something.
starstruck, huh?
yeah. So I stopped, ran with him, got a selfie,
Right.
and
You got the video somewhere.
I have the video.
Need the video.
And he's like, water. So I'm like, I ran in, got some bottles of water, waited for him to come back up the road, and gave him and his running buddy the bottles of water. Yeah.
Now wait, were you like, hey, when you're running and got the selfie, were you like, hey, do you need something?
No. He was like, they were thirsty. He was like, water. You got water?
I'll hook you up.
Yeah, it was nice. It was
So
nice.
you probably like, I gotta jump in action here and go get the water real quick before you were like probably wicked excited to do
I
that.
was really excited. He ran right by the condo. So I'm like, I can do that.
I could see like a
don't
little
blame you.
boy
I
like
would've
running
done this.
inside. Ma, I need a water, Ma. He's
would've
out
done
there.
the
He
same
needs a water.
thing.
Help me. I need water.
Huge fan.
Where's the meatloaf?
Yeah, huge fanboy. Huge fanboy.
Yes.
I don't know. I went to, Babbittville. Bob's doing his interviews.
You go see Bob.
So I went to see Bob. I went to see interviews. I saw the T.O. interview. Saw the Joe Skipper interview. Who else did I see?
How cool is that? Did you actually get to talk to Bob?
No, I did not speak to Bob.
You got to open the door, man.
Bob Babbitt. We need Scott Black on Babbittville.
Yeah, it was great. So the vibe in the town was great. It was very crowded. Again, there are 2 races going on, 2,500 racers on each one.
Ooh.
So the town wasn't too happy about what was going on.
It was more than they're used to, right?
It was more than when you used to. You'd go into, Walmart. You go looking for eggs or Gatorade, sold out.
Oh no!
So
Even for the locals.
yeah,
that's
so
not good.
yeah, not good for the locals.
Well, I don't want to jump around, but let me ask you this. Is that part of the reason why it now looks like Kona is going to be in every other year? Or isn't it going to be this year the men are in France
Yes,
and the women are in Kona, but it will switch. So there's still going to be a women's race
Yes.
and a men's race every year, but not at the same place.
not at the same place,
So-
not at the same time, because after this race, the powers that be on the island said, no, this is not working for us.
5,000 was too many. 2,500
Not only
okay, but
not only was 5,000 too many, but a race on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
What do people do on Thursdays?
wait, do
they
people
work.
in Hawaii?
They work.
I said drink. I'm like, I think Thirsty Thursday.
Yeah.
So there's me.
No. So
Hello.
so people couldn't get to work.
I didn't know that happens in Hawaii. I thought they
Oh,
just
so
faked it.
they have to shut down like a
The
main,
locals,
a main
yeah.
highway.
They shut down part of the main highway. Even if part of it is open, there's traffic getting there.
I'm sure everything's moving slow to make sure that nobody hits. any
Yeah,
of the
it was,
athletes.
parking was a nightmare. I can't even tell you about the prices for rentals.
Oh,
It
wow.
was
Yeah, but that would be the way with 2,500 versus 5,000.
no, it was even worse.
Really?
Yeah.
So
It does sound logistically like a nightmare.
So I guess from Ironman's standpoint, it makes sense. Let's have 2 races, 2 separate places, double our money, or maybe add an extra third, whatever the percentage is. I don't know. But here's one debate I heard. So let's just use Sarah and Ben True for an example. I don't think Ben's a triathlete, but let's just say he was. A lot of couples, a better one would be T.O. and his wife.
Miranda, if she hadn't retired, yes.
Right. But the example is a lot of these triathletes are couples, and that is double the expense for them to go on another trip to another world championship in a different venue.
right.
I've heard that. Now, and Ironman's like, probably like, hey, we're just going to do what we do to make the money because maybe there's a dozen professional couples. I don't know. But for those professional couples, that's tough.
Well, they probably have an easier time than the age groupers because there are also
For sure. Because there's,
Sponsors
oh,
and stuff,
well,
right?
no. Well, yes. But he's saying there's probably a lot more age groupers who are married couples going one to Kona, one to France. Where in France? Nice.
yeah.
Nice, yeah. Nice is nice, by the way.
Thanks for that. No, that does make it so.
Pun intended.
Yes, pun intended.
Oh, okay.
I got that one.
You got that,
That one was all
Yeah,
me.
at least you did.
But
I
yeah.
lost my train of thought from that.
Well, I took us off track because I talked a little bit about the business side there of Kona
Yeah.
going to Nice, France, and Kona going to Kona, or it's Ironman going to Kona. And the debate, and some people, I would say more than some people, aren't happy about it. But on a business standpoint for Kona or for Ironman, it makes a lot of sense. Making
they
up for the
tried,
lost
but-
revenue over the last 2 years of COVID. So,
But I feel like now they're going to get a lot of pushback from like the cities and towns where they want to hold it if they want to do something like that. So
what do you think about that? I mean, Kona doesn't want to lose it, right? Kona's the OG. They're the original.
The way it was organized, it might have outgrown Kona, Kailua Kona a little bit. Certainly, it outgrew him with 2 races.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the history of Ironman is closely intertwined with the island. That's what most people aspire to do, is to get to Hawaii and not get to Nice.
Yeah. As a triathlete.
doesn't have a nice ring to it.
Right. But as a triathlete, for me, I will never be enthusiastic about going to a world championship that's not in Kona.
I mean, yeah.
Like if this podcast blew up and they're like, "Hey Eric, we want you to bring the podcast to our world
Let's
championship,"
go to
and
Nice.
I mean, I won't turn that down, but
You're not going to be happy
not
about it.
Kona.
Nah.
Like you don't say I competed in the Ironman World Championships. You say I made it to Kona.
No question about it.
Yeah, and everybody's going to know exactly what you mean because that's just
Right.
the place.
Right. If it was Nice for me, I would have to go. I was at the Ironman World Championships, and I probably wouldn't even say Nice. I'd just say I was at the World Championships.
And then people would be like, Kona?
I'd be like, no. It was nice though. All right. So enough about the business side of Kona and the whole debate. Should it be in Kona? Should it be in Nice? Should they do 1 race or 2? Enough about that. That's for another day. I hope that we can go.
Yeah, one of the great things about it being in Kona is that it's such a small, contained area, and everything happens right on Ali'i Drive.
So that just makes it really
On
good
the
for
pier.
spectators, right?
Yeah, so one of the things that's happening during race week, like I mentioned, is Bob Babbitt's doing his interviews, and he's doing in the morning. He does, I think, maybe 8 athletes.
Wow.
8 athletes in the morning.
One day, Erica.
Yeah, one day, exactly. So it's Hug goes on the rocks. So everybody's downtown, and all the athletes who are being interviewed are heading to Bob's, and then when they're done, they're walking away, or they're down there for the pool. So I was fanboying down there big time. Was walking behind Joe Skipper once. So Joe Skipper is a colleague of yours.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Triathlon Mockery podcast.
Oh yeah, okay. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
yeah,
I looked at
podcaster.
you. I'm like,
Well, I was confused too,
Yeah.
but podcaster.
gotcha.
Yeah. Joe finished 5th. He's not a hack.
Not a big deal.
He finished 5th. But on their podcast, one of their things was they call their listeners junkyard dogs, because they came up with one of the co-host came up with this thing where he barks at people when he goes by them. So he goes woo woo woo. So whenever you see Joe in a race,
We're not doing that.
you bark at him, woo woo woo. So I'm in the street. He's walking on the streets with his parents, and I'm with my girls, and I go woo woo woo. So he turns around and smiles.
Oh, he doesn't bark back.
I think he was with his parents, like I said. So I think he tried to be a little bit more, and I was a little bit more discreet. I didn't walk up to him or say anything, but it was just awesome. And like I told I saw T.O.'s interview.
Oh yeah. So did you get to talk to T.O.? I know you love T.O.
No,
You and him have communicated before.
T.O. and I communicated before. I got to meet him down at Clash. Guy's a class act. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
Very
he
nice.
had a heart attack in a triathlon a few years ago.
Didn't he do the triathlon that you did?
No, he was.
Timberman, or his wife did.
His wife was
Timberman?
there, and so the story there was I really had to pee, and so when I walked about 10 feet over to kind of pee discreetly in my wetsuit, and when I was walking back after I successfully urinated, he walked right by where I was standing. So if I never had to pee, he would have walked right by me, and I would have been. It was right after the heart attack, or right after the announcement of the heart attack.
Yeah. So yeah, fanboying downtown.
What about Tim Don?
Tim? I don't know if Tim was there. He might have been there with the Zwift team.
Tim's the man with the halo.
Yeah.
I remember. I watched his documentary.
We're going to get him.
Yeah. I think he might have been there, but I never ran into him.
Yeah. Sarah True,
I
New Hampshire triathlete.
I didn't see Sarah until race day.
Okay. What about Lionel?
I saw Lionel training one day on the Queen K.
Was his buddy there?
Yeah, of course.
The photographer?
Oh yeah. Talbot was there.
Yeah,
Talbot was trailing in the truck, filming, of course.
Talbot is pretty cool, and I got to meet him in
Was he one of the hot tub guys?
a hot tub guy. I don't think it was a hot tub
Was
guy.
that just Mark when you met Mark?
Oh no! So that was Mark and Ado,
Oh, okay.
and one of their other buddies, Grant, was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no,
For
we
some
got
reason I thought he was.
We
in
got
there
it.
too.
So this is coming out in July, but Mark just won a pretty big race out in
Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah, that's
wasn't
right.
It?
Yeah,
That's
congrats,
super cool.
Mark. We'll have you on. He'll actually be on before this one drops. So
Yeah, tape to tape.
yeah,
So
he
cool.
dominated on a rental bike.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll hear about it later.
Okay.
Or
Yeah, save it,
people
save it.
listening, I already know.
Yeah, so I don't know if I was able to convey it, but downtown Kailua Kona race week is a lot of fun.
What
It's
about
happening.
the female winner, Chelsea Sodaro? Did you know who she was at the time? Did you ever run into her before or after?
Well, I didn't. So I'm a big time fan, so I know who she was. When I was, we can get back to that, but when I was heading out on the Queen K, I saw them coming back up in Wailua, and I saw her red BMC jersey, so I knew who it was. I didn't know what position she was in, but I saw, and I was like, "Oh, that's Chelsea Sodaro who's there."
That's cool.
And I think she kind of shocked a lot of people.
We watched it.
Yes.
You sent me the link, and I actually was watching her. She was crushing
I was
it.
so pumped up that underdog one. We'll call it. She's not really an underdog, but she was kind of an unexpected.
She was unexpected.
Okay.
I was
Very
pumped.
nice.
I was pumped to see it.
That was cool.
A new mom too.
Very cool.
So you saw a lot of cool triathletes. That's epic. I mean, I wish I was there for that. That's really one of the big things I missed out on. And another reason I really didn't go out and do that quick trip was I want to be there for the expo
Oh, yeah.
and for the days leading up. Like that's really what you want to be there for too.
so much hype.
Yeah.
in the
Well,
beginning. Yeah.
what I can tell you
Mhm.
is that the expo actually was kind of disappointing.
Oh, bummer.
Besides this cool hat.
Well, the Iron Man store where you get all the Iron Man T-shirts is okay,
Oh,
but the expo itself
Is
with
it-
all the other
was it because of COVID or something? Like just maybe money and revenue people couldn't afford to go, or was it too expensive? or-
all of the above.
Let's get to race day. Your condo is about 2 miles from
My condo's 2 miles from the start line on Alihi.
So
So
how do you get there?
so
you walk?
Race morning.
Yes.
It's 2 miles. So I have the girls drop me off.
There's actually is there actually room for that? The cars and everything being a small island and
Look, there are roads. The roads are closed. It's tough to get down. It's tough. It's almost impossible to get downtown. The roads are closed. I didn't want to walk the 2 miles. There are shuttle buses that go by, but they're not terribly reliable. So, race morning, get up, do the traditional breakfast thing. And I have to be there for 5:30. Before they close transition one and the pier, you have to be on the start line. If I remember correctly, I think I had to be on the start line at 5:30. The women's pro race went off at 6:20, if I'm correct, and my men's age group went off at 7:30.
Wow.
Yeah. So the girls drive me down. I go through marking, final check-in, getting everything ready. The girls head back to the condo, park the car, and then they do the walk back to the start line. We're all lined up on Alihi in our by our age groups. Between the age groups and the water, there are stands, so the age groupers can't see the race start, which is a little bit disappointing. They sing the national anthem. They do the Hawaiian chant. I don't recall what it's called exactly, but it's sort of a prayer and a song. And there's this very, very old Hawaiian lady who does it. It's tradition. And then the pros women pros get in the water. And the cannon goes off and women head out at 6:20. I heard that they went off, but I didn't see it, of course.
That is kind of a bummer.
That was a little bit of bummer.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the ground and waiting my turn
And waiting.
and waiting.
Yeah.
The women pros go off at 6:20, then the first women age group goes off at 6:30. And then every 5 minutes there's an age group that goes off.
Did they do all the women first, or would they
Yes,
do like?
they send all the women age groups out before the guys.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I think there was all the women went off and they were done by I think maybe 7:05, and the first men's age group went off at 7:30.
Okay.
But maybe at around 7:00, all of a sudden I hear some shrieking, and the girls managed to find me in the line. Once I was in the corral with all my fellow age groupers, all of a sudden I felt like I belonged again. I wasn't afraid to take my shirt off anymore.
Did you need to have a wetsuit or anything, or it was just so warm that?
No, it's there's no wetsuit. It's the water is a nice and warm 80 degrees, I think, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no swimsuit, which makes the race, the swim a little bit more challenging for everybody because there's no swimsuit.
Yeah, I remember some guys were like, wearing a wetsuit feels like you're cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Very buoyant. And you get to fart in there and keep the air bubble.
I almost didn't think of the buoyancy thing.
Yeah.
But does that make your transition any easier where you don't need to have it stripped off you?
It makes it easier. They don't need to strip the wetsuit
Mm-hmm.
off. That's true.
But how did the swim go for you?
So we're progressing in the corrals, and I'm continuing to hydrate. And then let's see. So the women went in the water at 6:30. So at about 7:20, I'm on the stairs leading down to the beach, and the women had just started to come out of the water. Just when I start going down the stairs, the race favorite comes out of the water. So the crowd goes freaking nuts. So Daniela Reef comes out, but she was probably a good 8-10 minutes behind the fastest swimmers.
Okay.
So you get into the water, and you have to swim towards the start line, and you have to tread water for 10 minutes with your age group.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well,
I'm baffled by this.
Now this is the new Ironman.
Okay.
One of the great attractions of Ironman in the past was the group start, where everybody, all 2,500 athletes, were in the water, treading water at the same time.
God.
And when the race would start, it would be a battle. Chaos.
Absolute
a battle. People would get punched.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I can imagine.
It was unbelievable. So now they spaced it out. You have the age groups, but so you're with your age group and you're treading water. I found myself what I thought was a nice spot in the middle, and I made sure to turn around and take in the sights. And that's one of the things that I'd seen over the years on the TV broadcast. Is shots the water start.
Right.
You know, you turn around, you see all the people lined up on Alihi and along on the pier, and the sun's coming up, and that's just unbelievable. That was a really, really good moment.
It's a core memory now.
Yeah, core memory. And the horn goes off, and I start swimming. And even though it wasn't a mass start of 2,500 people, I think there were 200 and I think it was 280 maybe
That's still a lot of people.
in my age group. So it was a little bumpy at the beginning. Start swimming. I got dunked a little bit, pulled, slowed down.
Right.
But got into my pace, and you clear the inner harbor, and then started to get choppy and very swelly.
Really?
Yeah. So chops are the little movements, but the swells are these
big
movements. And I had heard people talking about getting seasick actually from these giant swells.
I don't think I would consider that.
Yeah.
Like it just.
So you're keeping on the swim, you keep the buoys on your right side on the way out, and you swim out to a boat. Basically 1.1 mile away. And then you go around the boat, and then you keep the buoys on the right side on the way back.
Oh, wow.
So I'd say, 25 minutes into the swim, I feel like I'm good. I've gotten my own little space. And that's when the fast swimmers from the age group behind you
Oh, no way.
start to catch up to you. Now I'm not a super fast swimmer. I'll just say I'm average. Okay. And they start coming by. So you have the fast ones that just go by you.
Yeah.
But you have those that are just a little bit faster than you that start catching up to you at 25, 30, 35 minutes where it starts to get crowded. And there you start getting dunked.
Oh, no.
And swallowing water. Yeah, I think I had enough sodium intake on the swim, to keep me for the rest of the race. So that was rough. Go around the boat, and it seemed that once we went around the boat, that either the wind shifted or the current shifted. But where I thought my navigation was dead on the way out, on the way back, I felt like I was all over the place.
Oh, no.
And, it's a long swim. It's, 2.4 miles. And as you approach the harbor, you can start to see the people waiting on the pier. And you get to the end of the pier and you start funneling into the harbor, and you think that you're there, but there's probably another 300-400 yards.
Oh.
And it starts to funnel and get tighter. So you get crowded with a lot of people in there.
So that slows you down too.
I don't think it necessarily slowed me more than I already was going, but it gets crowded.
Yeah.
It gets crowded. And then you get to where you can put your feet on the sand, and then you run up the stairs and you're out of the water.
Okay.
And the crowd is going nuts.
That's exciting though.
Yeah, that was exciting. So my plan was to take it nice and easy through transition. No, not too much of a hurry, because for the last 3 months, people have been telling me, you're already there. You've already done the work. You don't need to kill yourself. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take it easy through transition. So you get out of the water. There's some hoses to hose off the salt water. I take my time, hose off, and then you grab your bag and you go into the transition tent. Now, this is the first time that I had ever been in a transition tent that was that close to the water.
Okay.
And it's the first time that there had been close to 2,000 people who might have gotten out of the water before me. All right. So I wasn't really thinking. So my plan was get into the tent, take off my swim skin,
Mm-hmm.
add some chamois cream, put my socks on, and then run to my bike.
Yep.
Okay, so I do that. Take my time. Little did I know that the carpet was soaking wet. So my socks were instantly wet.
Oh no.
Instantly wet. So all that extra time that I'd taken to make sure that I have nice and warm socks, dry socks, out the window. So then you get onto the pier and you got to run through this maze to get to your bike, and it's very crowded.
Mm-hmm.
So Eric would not have been happy with me. It was a 10-minute transition.
So what is a good transition for you? Like what would you try to target normally?
Right there could have been a 4 or 5 minute transition.
Oh, so you really were
Oh,
taking Okay.
yes, really.
It's a nice little shower, getting all the salt off.
Yeah, so adding some sunscreen.
Mm-hmm.
That's
important.
Yep. So I head out, get ready to jump on my bike.
Mm-hmm.
Just as I get my shoes on the pedals, there's this guy who falls down in front of me, and I can hear on my left screeching, "Go, Dad, go!" So got to see my girls. They saw the guy fall down in front of me, and they're like, "Watch out, watch out!" So
What did you do? Just tip over? Like
he lost his balance getting on his bike and just went down.
Oh yeah.
Just went down. So I get on the bike, you do a little loop through town, then you head up a little incline up Kuakini Drive where you do a little loop, and then you come, and it's a hill, so I took my time on the hill. You head back down, you get some good speed on that hill.
Yep.
When you get back into town, it's what they call the hot corner. You can see the people coming 4 times on the bike,
Oh, nice.
and then and then when you're on the run, they can see you there as well. And that's where you go up the legendary Palani,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very steep hill. So took my time going up Palani. And then when you get to the top of Palani, you take a left and you're on the Queen K.
Okay.
And you're on the Queen K for basically the rest of the day.
Forever.
for the rest of the day.
Right.
So then I start settling in, and I start picking people off, passing a lot of people.
So what kind of day are you having? Like, is it a nice sunny day? Do you have any clouds? Is it
So
really warm?
so by that,
'Cause you're out there.
so it looks like the swim was an hour. So I left at
That was
7:30.
still early, right?
7:30. I think at that point it was like 8:45.
Okay.
Okay, so it's still reasonably
Not scorching or
scorching, and the sun isn't high yet.
Gotcha.
And so you're on the Queen K, and it's a rolling road.
Okay.
Okay. And you're probably, I'm probably going, 22 miles an hour average on that part, maybe a little bit more. And, just settle in for the first 20 miles. And I get to the first water station where I'm going to get some extra water. And there's a line.
Oh no. Okay.
There's a line. And I had to stop,
Oh no.
pull over to get water, wait to get water before heading.
How long was
heading
the
on.
wait?
Well, it was maybe 20, 30 seconds, but you had normally,
That's still a lot because you're coming to a complete stop.
normally you just roll through those things and grab, but
Right.
there were a lot of people,
Did they have enough
Well,
stuff for you? Enough?
Well, now that you asked the question, one of the issues that they had with the 2 days and the Thursday was a shortage of volunteers.
See, that isn't what I would figure the problem would be. I thought they would run out of nutrition for you guys.
Well, that happens later in the day.
Oh no. Foreshadowing.
But No, they had a volunteer shortage,
Okay.
and they also reduced the number of stations.
So how many are you supposed to
So,
have? I get if you don't have volunteers, like you.
Yeah,
obviously
so
can't
you get
staff 'em,
you
but-
usually get one about every 20 miles.
Okay.
I think one of them might have been 25 miles.
Okay, so they were just
Okay.
spacing it out a little bit
They'll
more.
space it a little bit, but
Not ideal.
yeah. So the first station, I had to stop, refill, get on my way. So, and that's just after you get to the airport. So the airport where that's kind of a landmark. You know where the airport is.
Okay.
Okay. And then you start heading out, and you're at that point, you're really in the lava fields. Okay. There's nothing and there's nobody.
Oh no.
There's nobody to cheer because you're out of town. There's nothing. There's nowhere to get a cold drink. There's no shade.
Oh.
There's nothing. So you're out there all by your little lonesome self, except fellow riders.
Right.
And so I'm just doing my thing, passing a lot of ladies.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're the next landmark that you passed is the resort for the Four Seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Waikola, where there's a red light for people to make left turns,
Mm-hmm.
and the hotel has put out some tents so people can have some shade,
Okay.
and you might have been 20 or 30 people there to cheer you going by.
Right.
So as you're whizzing by at 25 miles an hour, people are like, ah, and you go by. And then you hit, then at that point you hit, one of the big downhills, one of the nice steep downhills, which on the way back is,
Oh no.
Yeah.
You go down it, you gotta go back up it.
yeah. So you go down and you head down there, and you hit, like the 40 mile mark. And that's where you take your first slight left.
I love it. Slight left.
And you head down for another 2 miles. That's where you take your right turn up for the famous climb up to Hawi,
Okay.
which is a gradual 16-mile climb.
16-mile climb.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking for a grade? Like, is it?
It's probably the beginning. There's some maybe 5-6%ers.
That's decent.
Rolling,
That's
and then the last 10 miles is I think it's a gradual 3-4% for the last 6 miles.
That is a lot. To
Yeah.
Keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crowded. There are a lot of people,
Right.
and it's a single file with people mostly spread out over the 10-meter distance for not drafting.
Oh yes.
But the line is unending, and I know that I could have gone harder, but I felt like I would have to slot in to a lot of people, and I was afraid of getting a penalty. So
Oh right.
I just bided my time, and I sat behind, and I rode it easier than
You could have.
I would have.
Yeah.
And
So what would the penalty have been if they would?
5-minute drafting penalty.
Can they-
Arrest.
Can they give that?
Yes,
Can
they-
they give that to you multiple times, or just like?
No, 2 of them, you're out.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So better to play it safe than sorry.
Yes, you want to be better safe than sorry.
Yes.
And I had seen an official motorcycle earlier
Mm-hmm.
behind me. I'd heard it, and I didn't want to run the risk of getting the penalty.
Right.
So at that point, you reach Hawi. That's 60 miles in before the turnaround.
60 miles.
Yeah, Yeah. So I came in there. I was just under 3 hours, I think maybe 2 hours and 50 minutes. So I was actually very happy
pace
with
for you.
happy with my pace, happy where I was. I felt good. And you do the turnaround. And unlike all my previous races, I had decided to take things reasonably easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd set up some stuff for me in my and I can't even think of the word right now.
It's a bag that you're able to put.
Like a drop bag?
What is it called?
It's not a drop bag.
It's
Is
like
it?
a drop bag, but
Your
Transition bag?
no, not transition. What's the
you
word?
put it on like halfway on your bike course or your run course. I can't think of what it was
Your-
called either.
You're not helping me.
I know.
What's it called? Special needs.
Special needs.
Special needs. Okay.
He's going to Google it.
So yeah, so shortly after the turnaround at like maybe mile 61 or 62, just as you're starting to go up a little incline, there's the special needs bag.
Good.
So
What'd you have in there?
you call up your you get there, you call out your they call out your number because someone sees you, or if they don't see you, you call out your number, and then they run in your bag.
Okay.
And they bring it to you. So I had mixed a 3-hour energy bottle, and I had another 3-hour energy bottle there waiting for me,
Good.
but without water, because I was going to mix it.
Oh.
And when she brought me my bag, there was no water. So I had to ask if she could see if she could find some water for me to fill it out. So she
no.
went running off. So I don't know, 4 minutes I was there
no.
waiting for this, but it's okay. I took it all in.
Okay.
You
You
know,
had a
all-
very good attitude about
all-
this, with
all in-
these
all in-
little quirks going on.
all
during
in
the race.
stride. And so she brings me my bag, and up until that point, Hawaii can be known for its vicious winds.
Mm-hmm.
Felt the winds. They say Madame Pelé was favorable to us. There's a slight wind heading up the hill,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't so bad. And then so I headed back out, and you're on this almost 16-mile downhill, because the first 6 miles you're flying.
Yep.
And I coasted most of it. I mean, when I pick up speed when I could, but I sort of ran out of gears. I didn't have enough big gears to power through it. So I coasted down and try and save my energy for that. And still going by a fair amount of people on that part. And then you get down to the bottom of the 16 miles. You take that left turn again when you get to the main port where all the stuff comes into the island.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the crowds really started to clear out. So that was probably 3 hours and 40 minutes in, and I spent some time all by myself there.
Really?
Yeah,
That's lonely.
and
So
prior to that, I think maybe 2 or 3 guys went by me on the bike. I didn't find anybody I could work with.
Mm-hmm.
And then then you hit the first hill in Waikola, and I could feel the wind was probably coming from 3/4, and I could start to feel the wind.
No.
And it got hotter too, because you're in this like little valley, and feels like the temperature goes up like 10 degrees with the hot wind.
So the wind is good to at least cool you off, but you're almost getting a headwind out of it.
Yeah, the headwind, if it's a tailwind, it doesn't cool you off at all.
No, but at least that's not resistance.
Right.
Yeah.
But so there was a slight headwind, and it was hot. It was probably 85, and the humidity was going up.
That's warm. Mm-hmm.
I'm sweating.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
it's hot, but I really felt that I had the nutrition dialed. I wasn't worried. You go up nice and slow up this first hill.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get up to the second hill, which is even harder. Just before that hill, a guy goes flying by me, and the guy who was behind me jumped on his wheel and was staying illegally close to him.
Oh.
And I was like, no. No. So I just sat there. But that guy, the guy who came by he was flying. I wish I could have jumped on his wheel. And you're going, so you get up to that hill. It's a famous lookout. And you're like, oh, I'm at the lookout. I'm almost there. You see, the airport's going to be right around the corner. So you have all these little undulating hills. And each time you go over one of them, you're like, oh, I think the next one's the airport. No, it's not and you go over the next one, like, it's got to be the airport. It's never ending.
Oh no.
Because at that point, that's like mile 80.
Seems like it's never ending.
Yeah.
It's just so
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It's long. So, but so you start approaching the airport and you see the airport, and so you're getting close. And so you come by, you go by the airport, you go by where the entry to the energy lab is. It's starting to get hot. And then you arrive in town, you go down Palani, you fly down Palani, and you get to transition. So
Okay.
So the bike is done. But I made a mistake. You don't go down Palani. You go down another road. But
You took a wrong turn?
no. Palani.
Oh, you're just getting mixed up
Misspoke.
right now.
Yeah. So they take you a road, and you get to transition 2, and I get into transition 2, and I take my time again. 10-minute
Yeah.
transition.
You never figured that out.
No, I did it on purpose.
Yeah,
I
well,
took
sure.
my time.
Between just the bike and the run one,
Yeah.
you would always take your time, or
No.
or this one you did
This
on
one I
purpose?
Oh, he always took his
Specifically-
time, but all the others were on accident.
Yes.
This one was
this one I-
strategic.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
this one I specifically took time. I had a change of shorts, and I was thinking of getting out of my
The kit, right?
my tri-suit
Yeah.
and putting on shorts and a t-shirt. And I had been running that through my head on the last hour of the bike, and I was like, if you do that, you're gonna get the shorts on, you're gonna chafe.
Oh.
And the other part of my brain was that, yes, but if you have the shorts and you have to go to the bathroom, you'll be able to do it quicker.
Mm-hmm.
But the being afraid of chafing part won. So I kept
Was it afraid of chafing or afraid of the shower after?
no. I was afraid of just of the chafing. Okay.
Worst.
Yes. And so then you head out onto the run, and they take you up the beginning of Palani, and then you go down Kuakini a little for half a mile, and then you head out on Alihi Drive, past past my condo,
Okay.
which was 2 miles. So I run the first 2 miles. I feel I'm doing good, nice and comfortable, hydrating. I get to the girls. They go crazy. Nice pickup. And after you pass where the condo is, the Alihi goes down for 1.5 miles downhill. Oh, it's maybe 1 or 2% downhill, but of course that means that on the way back, it's 1 or 2% up. So you do that. So I get to the bottom of the hill at the turnaround. I'm like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom, and there's a porta potty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm like, damn, I should have changed into shorts.
Uh-huh.
So take the skin off, wrestle with it, taking it off, do my thing, and come out. And I find someone. I say, hey, can you help me put this on? Because you're all sweaty. It's all sticky. You can't. So put it on. And I head back out running, and I'm like, okay, I've had my I've had my mini code brown. I'm all set.
I was going to ask, was your thing a 1 or a 2?
No.
So it was a mini 2.
This is a mini 2. This is a on schedule 2.
On schedule. Good,
So I'm like, okay, so that's good.
If it's a mini 2, there's a bigger 2 coming.
So it's out of the way. So I run back up, wave to the girls again, and you run on Alihi. So now you're 5.5 miles in. You turn up Palani, and my plan was to walk Palani. There was no way I was going to run up it.
Yep.
So I start walking up Palani, and there's a food station on the left in the middle of Palani, and I grab some water in the food station, and then I look at the guy who's handing out water and cheering, and I'm like, "Hey, I know you." And he looks at
That's
me.
right. That was
He looks at
Sebastian,
me.
right?
No, he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, I don't know you." It's Jan Ferdino.
Oh, it was Jan.
So, greatest Ironman and triathlete of all time. The GOAT. He's the GOAT.
way.
He's the Tom Brady of triathlon.
way.
Yeah. And he wasn't racing because he was injured, but he was there and he was handing out encouragements and water.
Well, how cool is that?
Yeah. That
I
was,
actually think he did some TV hits too with Miranda.
he might have,
Miranda Carfrey.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
T.O.'s wife.
Okay.
Maybe the women's GOAT of all time. Just retired, but
Okay.
Yeah. So she run it 3 times. Yeah. She's up there.
Wow.
So that was a big boost. And I get to the top of Palani, where all the crowds are, and then you turn left, and there's nobody.
That just sucks all that energy out.
It's nobody. And so, and you're out there,
Right.
and it's hot.
You don't realize how much crowd support actually helps you in
Yeah.
a race. Like, it is incredible the difference.
Yeah. And it's so hot. And I don't know what the Beeman scale was.
Oh, we could
was
calculate
up there.
it, right?
Okay. But I think it was probably close to 170 on
Oh,
the scale.
goodness.
well, that's
Well,
That's
200
decent.
is
Or
like
maybe,
the,
or maybe
anything
two,
over 200 is
Yeah.
like
or maybe 220. I can't remember. I don't remember the scale off the top
I bet
of
it
my
was
head.
up there. Yeah, 200 I
Google
think
it.
was what he said was like where it starts to become bad.
Okay. So I'm out there running my slow pace, trying to keep things under control. And I think it was at mile 12 that I had my first code brown.
Oh no, I love how you preface it by my first code brown.
Now I do have to say that when the podcast that you're closely associated to is called On the Runs,
Mm-hmm.
that it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy that it's going to happen.
Oh, Scott.
Okay, I was sort of hoping that it wasn't going to happen, especially since I thought I
You
had already.
had so many of them.
Since I had already taken, so I thought that I had nutrition all figured out.
Yeah.
Okay, but and normal weather and obscenely hot weather I managed, but there's something with the heat and the humidity that just gets to me.
I believe it. Oh.
Okay, so this is like mile 12 or mile 13. Okay, so at that point I'm starting to regret not having changed
Oh,
into
right.
the shorts.
Oh no.
Okay, because I was like, there's no way I'm going to stop and take this thing off again. So.
Mhm.
I think there was somebody running next to me at that point, and I said, "Never trust a fart." And they didn't even laugh.
No. Oh no.
Maybe they were foreigners from some other country. I don't know.
Oh.
So I just stopped very briefly with that one,
Mm-hmm.
and so you're running along the Queen K. So you go with different food station, water stations, and then at mile 15 or 16. That's when it's already hot and you're dying,
Oh yeah.
and that's when you make the turn into the famous energy lab.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't think that it can get any hotter, but you're wrong.
I'm looking at Eric and he's just grinning because he knows. And
You're wrong.
well,
So,
I don't know from experience. I just know.
yeah, you know, but it's oh my gosh.
So you run that, and literally you run down into the energy lab.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that wasn't able to do because I had only gotten there on the Sunday was not to do a full recon of the run course.
Oh.
And I hadn't gone into the energy lab, so I had no idea what to expect, how long it was, and what it was like.
So yeah, tell me more about this energy lab. Is it like
Well,
is it like an aid station?
Well,
kind
no,
of
they
thing?
could,
Or
they
like,
could, they
what
could,
is
no,
it?
they call it the energy lab because they do research on power generation.
Okay.
With, I think they might have been doing it with solar panels at one time, or lava. I don't know, but so it's called the energy lab
Oh.
for that, but it also happens to be the hottest place on the island.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's brutal. So you go in and literally you go down and into the energy lab for, I think you're down in there for 5 miles.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, 5,
Okay, so this is completely different from what I had pictured. So this is like
out and back, but you're down in there for 4 miles.
yeah.
And then after you make the turnaround down in the bottom there, there's a water station. Then they make you run back up, and they make you do this tiny little extra loop in the energy lab, which happens to be an uphill.
That sounds just like that. What was it? The was it your?
Oh yeah,
Yucatan one or
Norway.
Whatever it was had that last little uphill
yeah.
right at the finish.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I hate that little. ugh.
Oh yeah, I
They do that.
I
It's the
hated
worst.
that little hill.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So trudging through the energy lab.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I hadn't really walked yet. All right? So you go the energy, go over that little hill, come back out. You turn back onto the Queen K, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But there's still like 8 miles to go. You think you're done, but there's still 8 miles to go.
The
all right?
worst.
And my mind is starting to play games on me. And
Are
it's,
you getting like heat stroke at this point?
no, I'm
This
not
being-
getting.
okay.
I don't think I was getting heat stroke, but I was hot. I was soaked from
Exhaustion,
trying to
yeah.
from the sweat and from
Right.
pouring water on myself, questioning my what the hell I was doing there.
It's Kona. It's Kona.
You
That's
know,
your new mantra.
I had aspirations earlier on finishing before it got dark,
Okay.
but the sun was really starting to set, and I could tell that I wasn't going to finish before dark, so I was a little bit disappointed on that. I was like, well, why bother running if you're not going to make it the way you wanted to? Why don't you just walk? And I'm like, no. Don't walk. That's the last thing you want to do. You don't want to walk, because if you walk, then people are just going to run by you. And he said, yeah, but walking feels so good.
All
I'm
the
like,
mental games.
no,
Man.
no, don't walk. Okay, keep on running. And then it happened again.
Oh no.
And then it happened again. And I think that was at mile 22 the first time. And that's when you could see the first drop on the pace down to like maybe a 13-minute mile.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like, he's slowing down.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Oh.
The
I'm
girl.
watching on the.
No. Oh no, he slowed down. Oh. So wonder what happened. So release the Kraken the first time.
Shit happened.
Yeah, oh,
Shit literally happened.
shit literally happened. And but it's all trapped in the suit because you got those really tight legs,
Are we gonna have another incident where you're in a porta potty for
Okay.
40 minutes after?
I haven't gotten there yet because I've learned from my experience.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah, that was Cosmel.
so I walk, and then you just walk the rest of the way. No, don't walk the rest of the way. You can do this. Okay, one leg in front of the other. Just pick up the knees. So you start walking again, but it's rolling. Probably could tell on the tracker where there was a little downhill, where there was a little uphill. And then at mile 23, it happens again.
He's only gone 1 mile since the last one.
Scott.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it happens again. So one was maybe at the beginning of mile 22, and the other was at the end of mile 23 or something like that.
So
And
we're
by-
talking. This is the 4th time you've
Oh, yeah.
during this marathon part.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ah.
So not only the heat and the humidity, but the nutrition was probably all effed up. Maybe not enough water, maybe too much water, maybe too much salt. I have no idea. Okay. And then, so at that point, you're looking ahead and you can see the lights of the town down lower on the left. And you know that all you have to do is to make it to Palani, because there's this nice downhill for like the last mile and a half of the run. So that's when, you know, I'm like, okay, you can do this. You can make it. You can do it. So you start running before Palani, and then things pick up from Palani, and then you get down to the bottom of Palani. You take a left on Kuakini again, and then you run a little bit, and you're just before you take that, just when you take that left in Palani, the finish line is like 200 yards in front of you, but you have to run a mile to get to it because they want you to come along. So
Iron Man. What
so
the
you're like,
hell?
oh, I can get there. You hear a mic. You hear you don't hear the voices, but you hear the crowds. So you run. So left on right on Palani, left on Kuakini, and then right on Hualai, I think it is Hualai, and then right on
Finally.
on Alihi, which takes you to the finish line. And finally, there's starting to be big crowds.
Okay.
Even though it's 7 o'clock at night, the crowds are still pretty big. And then you hit the carpet, and your pace starts to pick up, and you're starting to you've made it. And you're running down the carpet, and you're looking to the left and the right because you have no idea where your family is. And finally, with maybe a couple of 100 yards to go, I see my kids. They're on the left. So this time I had the wherewithal to give them high fives.
Okay.
We're in some
Unlike other years.
or the years I want to get to. And finally, I'm approaching the finish line, and I'm trying to time it so there's nobody there when I go, so I can get a nice picture, throw my arms up, be happy. And I get to the finish line, and there was this guy lying on the ground who would like rolled on the ground or something after he crossed the line, who gets up off the ground just when I'm about to take my picture. And you cross the line, and Mike is there, and he calls you in. He tells you that you're an Iron Man, and it's his last race. So everybody who crosses it's his last Kona. So you cross the line, and you're happy, and you're thrilled, and that it's all over.
Right.
And somebody approaches you and asks you how you feeling, and
You looked good too when you crossed the line.
yeah,
I thought you looked great.
I'm like, I'm good. How are you feeling? I'm good, but I need to get to. I'm good, but I feel dehydrated, and I think I need to. I need to get the medical because I need to wash myself off. Do you guys have a shower? And he's like, no, there are no showers in medical. I'm like, oh, well, where's there a shower? And he's there. Well, there's a shower over there. And I'm like, well, I need my transition bag so I can get something to change in. And it's like, how do we can you go to get my bag and transition? And he's like, no, I can't do that. You have to do that yourself. And I'm like, I can't go over there and get my bag. And I'm like, and I need to get to medical because I tell him I shit all over myself. I'm grossly dehydrated.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I think I need an IV. And he's like, well, no, you look okay. Plus we used to give IVs to everybody, but we don't do it now.
Okay.
Unless you're really bad.
So
I'm
you
like,
didn't make the cut.
I'm like, okay, all right. So, and he says, and I'm a doctor. So, I'm like, okay. So I was like, can you come with me and he's like, yeah, I'll help you. So, but there's no shortcut. You have to walk all the way down the pier, all the way down to the other side, get the bag, and that probably took 20-minute walk.
Oh my God.
Okay. So I had one, you know where this is going, right? I had one bottle of water. Okay. And so we walk and I get my bag and, I still don't have my medal because when you cross the line, they don't give you the medal. They give you beads. Okay. So I walk around, I grab my bag. And he's like, okay, the shower's over there. And he points me in this vague direction. Okay. And I'm trying to find, he lets me go. And I'm trying to find the shower. And I can't find the shower. I'm looking for the shower. And the inside of my leg is just killing me from the chafing. Okay. There was a point on when I was on the Queen K, right? I sort of wish that I could have pulled my pants down a la Mexican long distance race because of the chafing, run naked for a while. Yeah. But no, you can't do that in the Queen K. So I finally get my bag and I'm looking for a shower and I can't find anything. And there's the beach, which is the King Kamehameha Hotel Beach. It's a nice little cove. And I'm like, screw this, I'm going in the water. So I take my I struggle getting my sneakers off. I wrap a towel around my neck, go into the water and strip naked. And the water is stinging like a son of a bitch, the salt water.
Oh God.
It is just stinging. And
that's worse than a shower.
And I'm trying to clean myself. And just there's this part I touch on my inside of my calf and it's freaking burning like hell. So I get out of the water. I very gently tap myself dry in those areas. And I put on a pair of shorts, a different shirt, and I go and I'm like, I need some food.
Yeah.
I need some food. And probably an hour has already gone by.
Where are your girls at this point? Or were they still at the...
They were on the phone with me.
So you can't, you're...
They were trying to find him.
You're locked, you're enclosed in this area behind the hotel where only the racers have access.
Okay. So they have no idea what's
So
going
they
on.
have
So they called Eric.
Okay.
Well, I called them.
Another detail I left off is the guy told me, if you get an IV, you're going to be in there for at least an hour and a half. Now, I'm in a completely depleted state. Okay. Zero brain functions anymore. And I'm thinking, an hour and a half, that's really long. I'm not going to be able to see my kids for an hour and a half. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I don't need an IV. Okay, yeah, I'll go get my clothes. All right. So it's a very, very important detail. Okay. So now I go wait in line to get my medal. And finally it's my turn. They look at your wristband, scan it or something, and then they brought me my medal. And that's where I shed a tear. So they gave me my medal, put it around my neck. They also give you a commemorative coin, which it's what I want. All I wanted along was the damn coin. I really thought they gave you the coin when you qualified.
Oh.
Here you're going. Here's the coin. Congratulations. But for some reason, maybe it was my mistake, or maybe they used to. So anyway, I finally get my medal. And I go to where the food is, and I try to eat, and there's some lousy, extra dry hamburgers, the sliders, and I'm lying down on the ground, just trying to eat this stuff very slowly. Mouth is completely dry. Maybe I think I had a Coke as well. I'm on the ground. There's a guy there who's lying on the ground. I don't know how long he's been there for, but medical comes to take him
Oh,
away,
no.
take him away because I think someone said, "Hey, that guy's been there for a long time and hasn't moved."
Sango, you dead.
You know, there's another guy.
Oh, man.
You know, yeah. There's another guy who's there, and a volunteer comes up to him, and they start making out, and I'm like, hey, how come I don't get a volunteer like that? She says, well, I'm his wife. I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Makes sense.
So I get a little bit of food in there. I think I stayed on the ground for a half an hour with the legs up, you know, and I go to get my ice cream sandwich, and I'm starting to feel nauseous.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm not feeling good. And I go into the restroom there. I don't even know what happened in the restroom. I can't remember. Maybe I don't want to remember. I don't know.
Right.
And I head to medical. And I tell them that I'm feeling nauseous. And they say, well, come in, lie down. And they say, you're nauseous? Yeah. I said, oh, let's give you a pill for that. Okay. So they gave me this pill that you put under your tongue.
Okay.
And so it doesn't address the problem. It covers the symptom.
Uh-oh.
Okay. It's so you don't feel nauseous anymore. Okay. So I'm lying down there, and they're like, maybe 10, 15 minutes. And I'm like, okay, I'm feeling better. And I can see through the corner of my eye that Estelle is snuck into the pool area of the King Kamehameha Club looking for me, because it's been
Nice job.
it's
Estelle.
been 2 hours.
Wow, yeah.
Okay,
She
she's
must
like,
have been worried.
she's like, Dad. So they signed me out of medical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I go see her, and I give her some of the stuff that I'm carrying because it's a pain in the neck.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, can she come with me to go get my bike? And they're like, no, she's not allowed. She's not allowed. And so I'm like, okay, so I want to go get my bike, and I'm feeling nauseous again. So I go back into medical. Okay. They weigh me again because they've already weighed me before,
Mm-hmm.
but they weighed me again.
Wait, did you get your bike or?
No. I didn't
So
get
you're
my bike.
on the way for the bike, and then you're like, I can't.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I go back into medical again. They give me another pill, and I start gorging on chicken noodle soup, warm
Okay.
chicken noodle soup. And I'm lying down, and I'm not feeling good at all. And I'm feeling nauseous. So I'm gorging on the chicken noodle soup. And like I said, they weighed me.
Uh-huh.
So if you remember on the,
What,
on
177?
177,
Yeah.
they say you're 183. Okay.
You're fat.
No. So that would mean borderline hyponatremia, because I've retained so much water.
Oh my
What?
gosh.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But all they do is give me the chicken noodle soup
Uh-huh.
and the nausea pill, and all I want to do, of course, is see my girls, get my bike, and
go.
and go.
Yeah.
Okay. While I'm lying down this time, I'm like, do you guys have any Vaseline or something? Because I've chafed so bad on the inside of my thigh. You know, how many layers of skin do you have? Is it three
Something
layers?
like that?
Okay.
I should know this.
Okay. Or I think 2 7/8 of my layers of skin are gone on the inside of my left thigh. It's just brutal.
Oh,
Brutal how much chafing was on there. Okay. But that was the only spot, because obviously everything settled down and got captured on that side.
I see.
And so the nausea pill works, sort of. The chicken noodle soup sort of helps a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get my bike all the way around again.
What time is it?
So-
how?
So by then it's 9:45.
But what time do you think you finished at, and how much time has
So
elapsed?
I think I finished at 7:15. I think it was.
So we're talking
Oh yeah.
2.5 hours.
Oh yeah.
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 Wow.
Yeah. Okay. With 2 little dried hamburgers, a Coke, and an ice cream sandwich. Okay. So I knew where this was going. I asked for medical. They freaking talked me out of it. Okay. So I finally get out of the segregated area. Estelle is there to help me with the bike.
Where's Camille? This whole time?
Camille, again, was pregnant,
Yeah.
had walked back home again, because she was, at the time, she was 5 months pregnant, but a good 5 months pregnant. She was no problem. And she'd gone back to get the car as close as she could, because she's like, I don't think Dad's going to be able to walk back to the house with his bike.
2 miles.
Okay?
That's a lot after all he did that day.
You'd be surprised how many people were doing it. It's unbelievable, because not everybody has a full support crew.
That's true.
So Camille gets as close as she can, but it turns out that it's 3/4 of the way up Polani. So Estelle and I are trudging up Polani, and we get halfway up Polani, and I'm like, Telly, I'm going to shit in my pants.
That's Telly's Estelle.
Estelle.
Well, I figured as much.
I say,
but, oh no.
Telly, I'm going to shit in my pants. Quick, give me a towel. And in the middle of Polani, okay, I wrap the towel around my waist and do what I have to do in my shorts, take the shorts off and put them in a plastic bag, okay, and walk the rest of the way up, okay, with a towel up Polani up the rest of the way with a towel around my waist.
Oh no.
We get in the car, okay. They drive me back, get to the condo. Now the condo has an elevator for the 3rd floor,
Okay.
but the condo is built on a slope. So after each 3 or 4 apartments, there are 3 stairs to go down. So they go down 3 stairs, go down 3 stairs, go down 3 stairs, and that was just brutal. So finally they get me to the condo, and I'm famished.
Yeah.
I just want to eat. It's 10:30.
Okay. Long freaking day for you.
Estelle's like, "What do you want to eat? What do you want to eat?" I'm like, "All I want to eat is something in a hurry. Give me some chocolate milk and the Cheerios." So I pull a huge bowl of Cheerios with chocolate milk
That sounds really good.
and I do it in a pasta cooking pot.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Pot full of cheers.
I start eating that. I start eating that. I'm sitting at the counter, and all of a sudden,
Oh no.
it all comes back.
Oh no.
All the liquid that was in my stomach just comes out.
Oh, no.
Into the pot on everything. Just I'm like, oh, this is not good.
Oh no.
So give me some Pedialyte. So I'm sipping on the Pedialyte. It just comes out again.
Oh no.
It comes out again. So I'm like, let me go lie down on the couch. And give me my boots. So they put the Normatec boots on, and I'm lying down on the couch, and I'm like, can you get me a hand cloth so I can do a cold compress on my forehead? So I'm lying down on the couch with my boots on, with the thing on, and I'm dying. I am dying.
Yeah.
Okay.
It literally sounds like you are.
I feel like hell. And I kind of half fall asleep. I'm lying down there. Camille, 10:30. Good night. She goes to bed.
Uh-huh.
But my Estelle, she's staying with me. She's like, Dad, do you need anything? I'm like, no. I'm like, Telly, I think I might be done with Iron Man. I think I might retire. I think maybe I'll just do 70.3s from now on. And I'm lying down. She's like, Dad, can I get you anything? I'm like, no. So I'm just there, and it's getting worse and worse.
God.
And it's probably 11:45 at that point, and I'm still there. And Estelle's dad says, she's like, do you want to do something, Dad? And I'm like, she's like, do you want me to want to go to the hospital? And I'm like, no, not the hospital. And I'm like, so I'm lying there, like 2 minutes go by, and she says, Dad, do you want to go to the hospital? I'm like, yeah, I think we should go to the hospital. So I get up, take the boots off, and I start walking towards the door, and I don't go past the bedroom, and I lie down on my bed in the bedroom, and he's just like, Dad. And I'm like, Telly, why don't you call 911?
Oh, no.
Yep. So she calls 911. Like half an hour goes by. 2 huge Hawaiian EMTs show up and start, taking my blood pressure and asking how you're doing. And, they're there for like a half an hour taking care of me.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, okay, we're going to get you going now, but we can't bring the
Like a stretcher?
the stretcher up.
Okay.
We can't bring this. There's not enough room in the elevator.
Oh.
So you're going to have to walk. Do you think you can walk? And I'm like, I don't know if I can walk, guys. So the one on either side, my arms around both of them. Okay.
I hope there's pictures.
No, there are no pictures of that.
Come on, Estelle.
There are no pictures of that. So
It's a man at his low point.
yeah,
Let him
yeah,
have his low point.
yeah. So the ambulance lights are going on at the bottom, and so they get me into the ambulance. Estelle follows me. It's midnight. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we
Did
go.
Camille sleep through all this?
Yeah, I think she slept through it. Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah, I think she slept through it. And so they drive me to the hospital. I get there. I'm admitted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the only one who's there. I can tell you that
course not,
much.
yeah.
Okay, which is one of the reasons why they canceled it during COVID, because there are no
They
rooms,
couldn't support it.
and
on
they
the
know
bed.
that
Yeah.
race day they have God knows how many people coming in.
Yeah.
So I'm in the emergency room on a bed
Mm-hmm.
on my first IV.
That you should have had hours and hours ago.
Okay.
Mhm.
And they take my they're taking all my vital signs, of course, and they take a blood test. And at maybe 1:30 in the morning, the doctor comes in and he's like, "Yeah, we took your you got your blood test results, so we're going to put you on a saline solution."
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, I had no salt
wow.
in me. Okay, which would explain the hyponatremia.
Yeah,
Not
retaining
enough
the
salt to absorb the water.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yep.
overweight. And she said, "Yeah, we got your blood test results. Yeah, you've got the enzymes that your enzyme levels are really high from dead tissue in your heart. So it's kind of like shows like you had a heart attack, but you didn't have a heart attack. Everybody who comes in from an Ironman shows signs of what could be interpreted as a heart attack.
That is not good.
So
oh my God.
Estelle's eyes go like this big.
Literally what mine are doing right now. Like, that is bizarre.
Yeah. So what do you think it's going to be like for you after 100 miles?
I'm doing a lot of walking. I don't know.
Yeah.
Holy shit, though.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
No,
I
this
really am.
This is the first time I'm hearing all this.
Yeah. So that's I had to keep some of the good stories for you.
Yeah.
There's another guy.
Well, so
What?
he finishes the race. I'm on the phone with Estelle at one point, right?
Uh-huh.
I mentioned that.
Yeah, she couldn't find him.
I go to bed, and it's like after lunchtime here, I get a Snapchat from him. Remember the Snapchat you sent me?
Yeah. In the hospital bed.
And it's him
Maybe
and
you
his
should retire.
Yeah.
it's him and his girls, and he just says, "Hey, dude, I'm okay. I pushed it a little too far."
I want to say he showed me that, And that's when we're like, okay, we need to get you on the show. We need to hear about it. I hadn't heard anything else after that. So holy shit.
Yeah.
He said one more thing to me. He says,
Yeah.
don't tell my girlfriend.
Don't tell my girlfriend, you know?
Yep.
So,
A theme, a common theme.
poor Estelle, she had just gotten there on Saturday. You know, she was still jet lagged. She stayed with me at the hospital. You know, we were half falling asleep, half chit chatting. There was another guy who was there. She made sure to remind me to tell you this story. This guy kept on passing out, who would been on the race. He'd pass out, okay, and he'd wake up and he'd go, "Where am I? What am I doing?" And then he'd
let him keep going.
and then no, this was at the hospital. And he'd fall and then he'd fall asleep again. And 10 minutes later he'd wake up. "Hey, where am I? What am I doing? What is this place?"
Oh my God. For some reason, I was thinking like this was on the course, like as it was happening. And he'd
Yeah.
pass it. Where am I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm going to keep going.
So
Wow.
so they check my vitals again, and at 5:30 in the morning they're like, "Okay, you can go home now." And guess what? I was fine. Okay.
You would only had that IV earlier,
Yeah.
but would they have given you like what is in? So you said you had saline, but was there like a different IV they would have given you? Or?
There might have been some saline solution in it, maybe not as concentrated,
Right.
but it surely
still would have helped you,
surely
right?
would have helped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus.
So that's why I don't. Another one of the reasons why I don't have the Iron Man tattoo, because I'm pissed at them for doing that.
Yeah, talking
Okay.
you out of it.
I knew I needed it, but my brain was depleted. It wasn't functioning
Yeah.
enough, so I couldn't fight it.
Mhm.
Right? But I knew I needed it. I mean, I shit all over myself. I
happened
knew
to you before.
knew the symptoms. I knew
Yeah.
exactly what was happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So Estelle and I drive back at 6 in the morning. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And well, we lost a day at Kona because we slept until 5 in the afternoon.
Right.
Because we'd gotten up at 5:30 in the morning,
That was an
Di-
entire
did an
day.
Ironman, okay, and then went to the hospital
Yep.
again, okay. All right. The ambulance ride was $2,500. The
Hey, at least you're in the country,
the hospital,
technically, right?
Yeah.
yeah, it was free in Mexico, dude. Remember?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
It wasn't for my brother. Remember that story?
Nine. Yeah.
They were trying to tell him it was going to cost whatever.
They said,
amount.
you
He's
can't
like,
come in
"No,
here without paying like this much money.
No, I don't think.
And he
we
said,
need it."
I'll go back.
Yeah. So yeah, $2,500 for the ambulance ride. I think it was $1,900 for the emergency
Oh
room.
my god.
Another $600 for the emergency room physician.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
American healthcare system. Is
Yeah. Yeah. All I needed was 1 or 2 IVs. Like I said, I needed. The next so at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we get up, we're going out, and a guy. So there were a whole bunch of Ironman athletes staying in the condo complex, and I'm walking up the stairs, and there's a guy who says, "Hey, did you hear or see the ambulance yesterday? There's some guy." I said, "Yeah, that was me."
but I'm okay.
Yeah, that was me. So that was Friday. So I recovered on Friday.
Yeah.
One of the great things about the race being split with the women on Thursday and the men on Sunday was I got to watch
Oh, that is cool.
the men's race having fully recuperated on Saturday. I got up, watched the beginning of the swim, then watched them go by on the bike, went back to my condo, swam in the pool. When they were coming back from the bike, I got to see him.
really
I got to see him again. I got to see him run by twice on the run, and then once they headed out on the Queen K, I watched it on the TV on the app again.
Nice.
And then when it was starting to get close, I went and I watched the finish.
Nice.
Then then I watched all the pros come in, all 30 who finished. I watched them come in, and then I went back to the condo. And at 10:30, I headed back to the finish line, and I was there cheering the last finishers.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That
it was
could
great.
be your next venture. Instead of doing the Ironman, you can just professionally cheer.
A professional
travel.
cheer.
Cheerleader.
So
I'm sorry.
that's okay. So
yeah, you could just travel around and
yeah. So
spectating in.
yeah. So one of the surprising things at Kona that I noticed is that the crowds aren't as big as I thought that they would be.
Really?
Yeah. There are more
the
there are
big
more
shebang,
people
too.
cheering at the end of Mont Tremblant.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was a couple hundred of us, but
Yeah, no, the bigger crowds at midnight. You know, there were still people, but bigger crowds. You know, at whatever it was at 11:45. You know, the guy who won, Gustav Eden, comes out. You know, gets the crowd going to hand out, and he's handing out medals
No,
to
wait.
the last finishers.
the crowd's not so big right at the finish line, but there's that whole stretch where they kind of line up for quite a while, at least like a third of a mile.
Yeah,
Was that full?
no, it wasn't that. There were
really?
people, but it's not deep. There's and there were gaps. So it was kind of surprising to me.
How many late finishers were there? I'm thinking like, okay,
there
because
were-
the races got split up, and that's the guys' race, and it was also a lot of strong guys racing.
They filled up a lot of the spots with Ironman Legacy guys. So those are people who have done 10 Ironmans or more. They had this fill up the spots. Then they also have the Ironman Executive Program, which is a special program for executives who pay a shitload of money to be able to experience the race and get super VIP treatment where their families can be in the finish line and handing out medals. And so, I mean, they spend the bucks, so they get their experience. So a lot of those guys finished late. So yeah, there were some very, very late finishers. I can't remember how many people were still out on the course when Mike shut it down, and it was Mike's last. So he gave a speech, and there were people thanking him, and it was a lot of fun. And yeah, so overall, it was a great experience. Very, very happy that I did it. My race was somewhat messed up by a combination of COVID, by the heat, and simply and Kona, because it's a hard race. So
Right.
I do the math. An extra 10 minutes I spent in transition. And then COVID maybe cost me 15 minutes, 20
Right.
minutes, and so I don't think I was really that far off with my top 10 aspiration.
Okay.
It was a slow time. It came in basically 40 minutes slower than I would be normal.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe almost an hour more, but it's Kona, and everybody has a hard time at Kona, and
Right.
I sure had a hard time too.
It's a
But-
world championships for a
But
reason.
yeah,
They make it count.
yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It's just too bad that you couldn't be there,
I know.
because you would have loved
I
it.
would have been in my element.
You would have freaking loved it.
So you got to do it again.
Well,
He just said he was going to retire.
I
That was in the moment.
that wasn't
Reflecting on it.
that was in the moment.
Mhm.
I took a considerable amount of time off after the race, doing absolutely nothing.
Mhm.
I extended my stay in Hawaii. I went to Kauai for 2 weeks.
Ooh, all right.
Then I went sailing in Italy with my buddy for for another 6 weeks.
That sounds
So
amazing.
so between October 6th and January 1st, I literally did nothing. And
You earned that nothing, though, man.
I
You worked incredibly hard to get where you did.
oh yeah, and I
some relaxation.
hated myself after the that 3 months. Because I never saw numbers so high on the scale in my life.
That just means you were enjoying life.
Yes, I enjoyed it a
Food.
lot.
You were in Italy.
So come January, I'm like, okay, I gotta get back on it, and I worked hard in January without anything on the horizon, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do any full Ironmans this year, at least early, because well, they would qualify me for Nice, and I don't want to go to Nice. All I want to do is go back to Kona. All I want to do is go back there. I want to do it again.
Yeah.
So February and March and April, I started to tail off. May, I spent 2 weeks out in Oregon babysitting my niece and nephew. Then I came back. I got a cold for 2 weeks, and I thought maybe I would have been doing the half Ironman out in Springfield this past weekend, and I'm glad I didn't sign up for it because there's
That was
nowhere
fun
I'm
too,
ready. And like I've told you guys, I've got absolutely a zero motivation. I need an accountability buddy. If anybody's out there and wants to be my
I
accountability
already
buddy,
offered to run marathons with you, but you said they were too easy. So
I
I feel like I wouldn't be able to keep up with you if you're just running a marathon.
yeah, I actually haven't ran since May the 10th, I think, which is just insane. So I go to the pool and try and get on my bike, but I'm really far from where I was, and it's not something that you should do, is compare yourself to where you were, because it's pretty dangerous. And you go down this rabbit hole, and it's But yeah, I got to go back to Kona for you so you can come, Eric. That's one of the main reasons,
Yes, I love it.
There you go.
right? Because
I want to go. I want to race it
Because
too one day.
I don't want to give you the $1,200 cash. I want to buy you an airplane ticket.
I think that's fair. That's fair.
I'll hold out until you make Kona again, and I'll just say this time, instead of me buying the ticket and you saying I'll pay you, I'm just gonna be like,
So
all
what?
right.
It's not going to be next year. It'll be 2025.
2024.
Oh, so because Nice is this
Yes.
year. Oh, okay.
Yes. So
There we go.
So
the-
you are thinking about 2024 Kona.
yeah, I am.
So which qualifier are you going to go for? Are you going to try one that you haven't done before?
So, well-
Yeah,
Or-
right now, if I can get my my shit together, I'm thinking maybe Maryland
Okay, I can deal with that.
in September. So
Okay.
Not this September.
yes, this September. I'm thinking maybe Maryland, because like that, I get it done early. And
Is September like the soonest you can start qualifying for next year's?
you can start qualifying as I think Mont Tremblant is the last one where you can
And is that August?
Yes.
Okay.
No, you know what? I think they're probably moving it up because the men's race is in September 2nd. So maybe it's end of July now, and Mont Tremblant might be for 2024.
Okay.
But it's a lot of people are probably holding out because
Kona.
there are a lot of people who only want to go to Kona. They didn't want to go to Nice. A lot of people had the choice doing Kona or deferring for Nice or deferring for Kona and
Deferring for Kona
Yeah.
instead of going to Nice, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
because when they announced that the races were going to be split, a lot of people had already qualified and put the money down for Kona, so that they have the option. Do you want to go to Nice or to go? No, I'll wait until 2024 and go to
Yeah.
Kona. So they have all these spots that they've been trying to give out for Nice. Anybody want to go to Nice? You know, when
Wow.
you know, when I finished second in Maine, I was hoping to finish first because I want to go to Finland,
Okay.
which is also which is end of August or beginning September.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who won, he said, "No, I'm going to Finland." I'm like, "Ah." And then they said, "Do you want to go to St. George?" Because it was St. George in end of September. And I'm like, "Nah, I don't feel like going. I don't feel like going to St. George. I wanted to go to." So then, how about 3, 4, 5? Okay, anybody want to go to St.
Oh
George?
my God.
Uh,
Have you done St. George before?
no, but
But you just didn't want it. It's not Finland.
it was. That's right. I wanted to go to Finland.
That's fair.
I know. I wanted to take Eric to Finland.
Yeah, my home country.
That's right.
My homeland. Not really, but
Close enough.
Knutton.
Yeah.
No, I totally get the appeal, but yeah, that sucks that they can't even give the spots away.
So
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'll have to, I'm going to hold on to that hall pass for Kona 2024.
That's fair.
I will absolutely love being there as a spectator. Love it. And I will have so many OTR stickers and magnets and
There you
other
go.
things to give away and swag, and it will be a blast.
Definitely.
And Scott will race in an OTR kit.
You got to make a custom one special for
Oh,
him.
that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
You got to make the bottom half of it brown.
No, you have to
No,
make
you
the
just
bottom
start.
half removable. You know, like those kids jumpers where you have the buttons and so you
yeah,
can
like
remove.
overalls.
Yeah,
and
yeah. No, in the back. You know, the
Oh,
snaps
like
in
a
the back.
flap?
Yeah. Flap would be
Oh
awesome.
man. Oh, that's even better. We'll customize it like specifically for Code Brown avoidance.
Well, remember the kit you had in Cozumel, and it was kind of like a white and blue and black?
See, that's what I was thinking.
That would
We'll
be-
make
that
you
would
a
be the
nice
perfect-
color
That would be
scheme.
the
just in
perfect
case.
one. Just put OTR in it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Well, this is awesome. It is.
Scott, we are so proud of you. Let me just put that out there. You are an incredible athlete, and even though things may have not gone your way, you still put it all out there.
Things have never gone his way.
I know, but he tries so hard, and he is an excellent athlete.
And you
Like,
know,
you were just.
I really
blow me
thought
away.
that I had it all figured out. You know, the hot race in Coeur d'Alene, I went through it, and then when I went down to Miami, I mean, I thought I'd figured out the training, the nutrition, it was perfect. Same thing in Maine, and then COVID.
Yep.
Let me ask you this question. So it's been a year since we had you, and that was episode 18, 17 and
Wow.
18
And now
and
we're
like
in, like, the
24.
60s.
All right, so this is going to be episode probably like 66, 67, 69, maybe. The story you just told us. So for the people who don't know from the previous stories, it was always, don't tell my girlfriend. And if they didn't go back and listen, your girlfriend lives in Montreal. She's French-Canadian. She doesn't speak English. She doesn't really even understand any English. So she's not listening to this podcast and finding out. It's not going to happen. The story you told us, is that the same story she knows? Or does she not know this?
I think. Which story? That I'm going to do it again, or the hospital? Oh no, she knows.
She knows the
Okay.
whole...
Oh yeah,
Okay.
but you just do it. Oh, maybe I didn't tell her about the heart attack thing.
Jesus. That's kind of a big one.
Yeah, well, I imagine if you told her that, she'd be like, no, you are retired. You are done.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just keep this on the DL then.
Well, no, you don't have to. She won't understand.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
No, it does. It does.
Unless she has a friend who listens.
It does put a lot of stress on your body. I mean, it is.
And that is apparent from
It is. It is the.
elevated
It is
heart
the
index.
hardest single day, long distance event.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a long, long day.
And you are an incredible athlete for even attempting it.
Yeah.
Well, I just
I
want
have a
to...
lot of credit for you.
I want to say, if you decide that September's too early for Maryland, Cozumel's in November.
Cozumel is in November, but you, dude,
It's an extra 2 months to train.
I don't know about hot and humid anymore.
You gotta train in it for Kona.
I don't know.
Not right now, he doesn't.
it's a tough one to
I don't know
tough
if you
one to
listen-
figure out.
I don't know if you listened to our Ashley Paulson episode yet or if you finished it, but we asked her the question, outside of Kona and outside of St. George, what's your favorite Ironman venue? And it was Cozumel. She said it was the best. She also said it was a
Yeah.
downhill swim, and I go, not for Scott.
Yeah, yeah, it was. It was a good place, but it was hot.
Yeah. Well, this was Erika. It is after 10 o'clock.
We did it again. But we started later. We had food. We had good times.
I told you.
I
Half
loved it.
Yes,
36
yes,
minutes for the
yes.
pre-show, 36 minutes for the race, 36 minutes for the post-race.
Since our little break we took,
That's true.
it's been an hour and 38 minutes.
Oh my god!
Did we get this to a two-parter? So
No,
so
no.
he can finally be in the 5-timers club.
He has to edit it down. Edit it down.
How do you edit it down? He's
I'll
got
figure
his
it
work
out.
cut out.
We got the time slot. But thanks, man, for doing this and sharing the stories. And we finally found a time to come on and come to your house and do this. This has
You're
been
awesome.
The only hard thing has been scheduling the time. We've had 3 or 4 dates scheduled and something came up, whether it was me or you,
Or me,
Erika,
yeah.
or,
I know.
or Scott's like, oh, I'm in Oregon now.
And no, and, and me remembering half the stuff. I mean, I can't even remember what I had for breakfast.
I think you did a pretty good job with this recap.
Yeah. Well, that was awesome. We're going to cut this one off now. Maybe we bring you back later after Maryland or something.
We'll definitely have you back.
So we'll have to call it part 5 or whatever. But everybody,
We'll have to get him a roll.
finally, the Road to Kona series is over. Scott Black
Complete.
on the On the Runs podcast.
Thanks, Scott, for coming on the pod and telling us all about Kona.
Yeah, that was awesome. What a story that was. That was absolutely epic. As Erika would always say, a doozy. Scott, I am so pumped, but I really hope you come back and you go to Maryland this fall and you qualify again, or we go to Cozumel or something. That would be awesome because I need to go to Kona and maybe I take you with me, Adeline. That would be a pretty epic father-daughter trip, don't you think?
Yep.
Especially if Erika can't go, I need a co-host to podcast from Hawaii.
And Dad,
Yeah.
when you said a little father-daughter trip, it just reminded me. In 2 years, we're going, I forget where my Uncle Alex lives, and we're like having a huge skiing trip.
We are. We're going to go on a father-daughter skiing trip out near Lake Tahoe where Uncle Alex lives. You're a really good skier now.
Yeah.
You're skiing black diamonds. You're only 7 years old, but we need to work on your biking skills.
Yeah, every single beginning of the summer, I still need a little more practice, and then I get really better at it.
Yeah, we do. As the summer goes along, we get better at biking, but starting again when the snow's gone and everything, it's kind of like we forgot what we learned last year, so we're going to work on it this year. We've been working on it already. We had some fun. We had some success camping. Mm-hmm. So we'll have some more, but you're a really good skier. Yeah. Real quick, tell everyone who's listening what you do for sports.
Said I'm a cheerleader and I love doing dance, and actually my dance season just ended. So
That's right, but cheerleading's starting up soon. What position are you as a cheerleader? What do you typically do?
I am a flyer, and this is my first year on DA. It's going to be my 4th/3rd because I did winter cheer.
That's right, you did winter cheer. Man, cheer all the time. All right. I need to do my thing and say, guys, thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and YouTube. Check us out. Share the pod if you can. Those fireworks are still going off outside. I think we need to get you an ice cream and go in the front yard and see if we can see the fireworks. What do you say?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's do that and let's end this podcast. But you need to say a couple very special words because my co-host Erika isn't here to say them. Do you know what those words are?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to stretch. Bye.
3, 2, 1, go!
Oh no. Shit happened.
Oh,
Shit literally happened.
Shit literally happened. And but it's all trapped in the suit because you got those really tight legs, you know.
Are we going to have another incident where you're in a porta potty for
Okay.
40 minutes after that?
I haven't gotten there yet because I've learned from my experience.
Okay.
Okay.